Riley Cooper, I mean, like, that dude deserves a statue. I mean, like,
number one on your speed dial.
Hey, I'll tell you what, like, I mean, I didn't know until a couple days after the fact. I was like, wait a minute, is he the MVP or like we got the all-tournament team?
No doubt about it.
And then Ty Floyd, when I struck out 17, and like stole it from him. But I was like, when has a pitcher like been a part of like 5 of the 6 wins in Omaha? I mean, what a performance!
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, Jordy.
Thank you for the time. Yes, sir.
Sharp a little late, boys, at the spring game, obviously, as you can see. A couple of booze cruises here to do. Let's spit, cruise, grand salami to the boys, finally back on track. And I got another one coming. Don't you think I don't? And that's how we roll in Tiger Stadium.
Just watching the spring games that were on television, one thing that jumped out about your squad is your quarterback room is very talented compared to a lot of the league and a lot of the country. I wonder, is it easier to recruit that position when you have talent or when you don't have talent? Coach Kelly, we're official.
Finally,
I'm
get a
telling
chance to meet you. Thought I had to get a private audience with the Pope. There's Jordy.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show,
And
come have a good time.
Tearing up, answering the question, and I thought, my God, if she gets offered this job, she's going to take it.
It's just a crazy, fun time at LSU right now. Isn't this what everybody loves?
From the boot to the east to the west coast, no matter where we at, we live. Open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show, yeah.
Let's go! Let's go!
All right.
Big day. Big day.
Nice start.
It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, Jordy.
Thank you for the time. Welcome in to a Tuesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, live here from Click Here Digital on this Wednesday. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button. Jam-packed show for you coming up today, up until 9 a.m. If you have not subscribed, make sure and subscribe to us before we get out. And as we've been reminding you, get over to NewOrleans.football. We appreciate the push. Already over 50,000 over on NewOrleans.football. Make sure and find us there. If you're on YouTube, just get over to NewOrleans.football. Give them a subscription. We're partnering up starting on January 1st and really fired up about being a part of Underhill's team and the crew over there at NewOrleans.football. All right, coming up today, we have Michaela Williams in studio with us. She's going to be here at 8:30 this morning. Looking forward to talking to the freshman who is averaging 17 right now for the Tigers as they are on a little bit of a break here with finals. We'll talk to her about the start of the season, what she anticipates here once the games get back up and moving, and what it's like from transition from high school to college. And as always, we'll talk to Jacques coming up on a Wednesday show here at 8 a.m. So those will be both in the 8 o'clock hour. During the first hour, we will hear from Brian Kelly as Kelly was speaking with the media yesterday on a lot of things, including bowl season, who could be playing in the bowl, some staff changes, what the next couple of weeks could look like from a recruiting standpoint. So a lot to hear from Coach Kelly as we have that press conference cut up for you, and we'll let you hear that coming up throughout the first hour today. Remember, daily we're built by R&B Builders. Our phone lines daily brought to you by Southern Regional Medical Center. Real doctors, real solutions. Get in touch with Charlie Harvey and Jason Ramazan over there. And daily we are here at Click Here Digital, a part of the team over here as we are setting digital marketing packages for you. And you can find more information online at clickheredigital.com. Lloyd is here on this Wednesday. Stewie is here on this Wednesday as well.
Chug.
As we
Parched.
get as we get ready. A couple of names on the first team All SEC list. Not a lot of surprise there. Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Will Campbell,
Big Will.
Brian Thomas on the second team.
I guess they had to give Luther Burden had
agree.
he had more yards, less touchdowns, more yards.
That all SEC first team is all pros.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
single one of them. I was going through the list, like, this would be a hell of a team if you could put it together, like just have them all play together for one game. If you did an all-star game of SEC versus everybody.
Oh, that would be a good, like, that's kind of
Like a Pro Bowl type deal?
That's kind of like a good idea for, like, scouts, like all the junior players, just put them all in a.
Because if I know the offensive line,
conference.
like if I know the names on the offensive linemen, I was like, I know who these players are.
Yeah.
Like top to bottom, all 11 are studs.
Said Van Pran, first team All SEC.
When is he a senior yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's
COVID
got to
year?
be. I mean, he's got to be, right? I mean, good Lord.
I see him in my dreams.
Trying to get that three-peat, coach.
Could have been here.
The first team All SEC, Jaden Daniels, first team quarterback. Cody Schrader,
He's a junior.
running back for Missouri. Quinshawn Judkins, Ole Miss running back, is a first teamer. Malik Neighbors, Luther Burden are the wide receivers. Brock Bowers, the tight end. J.C. Latham, who's going to be a top 5 pick. Alabama offensive lineman. Javon Foster, Missouri offensive lineman. Will Campbell, LSU offensive lineman. A pair of Georgia offensive linemen, and Cedric Van Peren and Tate Ratledge. And Anais Smith was the AP, the all-purpose player for the All-SEC offense. Shockingly, LSU, no first team.
No highlights on the first team defense for LSU.
Defensive guys out there. And as we said, second teamers. Emory Jones was a second team All-SEC, and Brian Thomas was on that squad. Harold Perkins did make the second team.
Can LSU claim Landon Jackson?
I was about to say LSU actually did have a player on the
Landon Jackson first team?
All SEC team.
He was a transfer.
Yes, after his he was one that was much maligned because of the reps against the air, and people were like, he doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. Comes out and gets 6 sacks in 6 games at Arkansas. I think he knows how to play the position pretty well.
Yeah, and he went home.
He was raw.
Yeah, he was.
He was raw coming out of high school.
He was raw.
And you'll see Caleb Downs on that list for a long time for Alabama.
goodness.
Freshman. Player.
Gotta have him.
Wait, Will Campbell is first team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was
We're talking about defense now.
right.
Yeah. We had, for LSU, Harold Perkins, the only one that made second team defense, the only one that ever sniffed the list of anything defensively. Then you saw...
I mean, Alabama's whole secondary is on here. You got Kool-Aid McKinstry, Caleb Downs, and Tyronn Arnold. So that's the cornerback, 2 cornerbacks and a safety.
Not a lot of A&M on here on the defense. Maybe they need to change the
Cooper?
scenery. I'm talking about defensive back room.
Texas A&M.
There's
All right, let's hear from
couple of Louisiana players
Yeah,
in the portal.
there is. They're starting to load up. We'll see what Brian Kelly and they do from a transfer portal standpoint. All right, let's go to Brian Kelly yesterday speaking with the press. First time we've heard from Coach Kelly since the Texas A&M game. Here he was talking a little bit about where they are right now in award season and starting to preview the bowl. This is just number 1 here, Stewie, as Coach Kelly yesterday meeting with the media.
This early, I know. This is like the college group right here. I could tell. Stay up late, watch the college games, the pro games, excuse me. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about the ReliaQuest. We'll talk a little bit about individual awards, and then open it up to the questions, and I'm sure you have a few of them. First of all, excited about the invitation to play in the JAQCUES Bowl.
Sounds like it.
It's a great destination, certainly Tampa for our football team, and a great matchup with a Big Ten opponent in Wisconsin. Great tradition, certainly a team that is well coached, and Luke Fickell, know him very well, and this team will be anxious and excited to play in this game. So it offers us an opportunity for a 10th win, which has been really kind of the thing that we have talked about for the last 6 weeks after the Alabama game as being an important piece for the development of our program, is to get to back-to-back seasons with 10 wins. So, again, excited about the matchup, excited about going to Tampa and giving our players an opportunity to be part of a New Year's Day. I know it's not a New Year's Six, but it's a New Year's Day bowl game, and it'll be well received. As it relates to some individual notes, I want to congratulate Mike Denbrock as a finalist for the Broyles Award. I think we'll find out on that today. And we think he did obviously an incredible job with his offensive staff, and what they were able to accomplish, offensively, leading the nation in scoring, total offense, third down conversion, yards per play. Just an incredible offensive year in terms of its production, unprecedented in that respect. Also, Jaden, obviously, as a finalist for the Heisman, certainly want to note that. Congratulations to him. That's an incredible achievement. He also was the winner of the Johnny Unitas Award, and there are others that are certainly out there pending that we believe he is a strong candidate for as well. So, exciting postseason notes. An incredible year from an offensive standpoint, and certainly looking forward to the bowl game. We are in exams right now, so our players are not required to be in any mandatory football activities. They are focused on academics. We will have weight training and some conditioning activities available to them during this week. We will begin our practice on Monday, our first practice, which will give us 15 practice opportunities prior to the first game. It'll give us approximately 17 meetings. It'll give us 4 to 5 weight training opportunities. So ample opportunity for us to continue to develop our football players and certainly prepare ourselves against a Wisconsin opponent that we're excited, obviously, and want to be able to put our best foot forward. So that's a little bit about the schedule in terms of what we've got going forward. I'll open it up to questions that you might have on all these matters.
So Brian Kelly yesterday, opening statement, as he kind of laid it all out, what's been going on, what's coming up, award season. He mentioned Coach Denbrock, who was a finalist for the Broyles Award, which goes to the nation's top top assistant coach on staff. Yesterday, Phil Parker, Iowa defensive coordinator, took that award home as the Hawkeyes boasted a top 5 defense in scoring, passing efficiency. They led the nation with only 18 plays of 20 yards 18 plays of 20-plus yards allowed over 13 games. And obviously, they were playing with the worst offense in college football, as that could be said for Mike Denbrock and what his offense was doing in comparison to what his defense, the LSU defense, was allowing, was about as polarizing as the Iowa run. But in 12 seasons running the Iowa defense, Parker has only allowed 25 points a game. He's always laid put a really good unit, a really good defense out onto the field. So this might have been a little bit of a career recognition for Parker yesterday, as he's been long deserved of that award, and in a year where they had just a bad offense. Parker's defense was the only reason why it felt like Iowa had any chance of making it to the Big Ten title game like they did last weekend, where they were blanked 26-0, I believe was the final score of Michigan taking care of business and moving on to the playoff. But no Mike Denbrock gets that award yesterday, but he was a finalist, obviously, after what LSU accomplished. But more from Kelly yesterday. Here he is talking about bowl preparation, some of the conversations that they've had with players on opt-outs, and what he anticipates that to look like once they get on the practice field starting Monday.
You think will play?
Yeah, I think we have a really good sense of the players that will be available for the bowl game. For me to stand here and tell you exactly what those players are, I couldn't do that. But I would say that, we spent all of last week doing exit interviews with our players. So last week was really about our players. This week we're really recruiting. And then we'll get to other evaluations within the staff. Once recruiting goes dead, and our coaches' responsibilities have completed, they have responsibilities, and they have to finish off their responsibilities to LSU. Then we'll do evaluations of staff, and so that's another week away. But as it relates to our players, we feel like we're in a pretty good position relative to who we think is playing, and any of that information, will come out here in the next week or so.
I think people will be interested to know what Jaden's decision was.
Sure, absolutely. He has not. He was. He unfortunately had a death in the family and was gone for a few days. I spoke with him yesterday. He clearly knows the pros and the cons of this decision. And I do too, right? Who wouldn't want him to play? I mean, everybody would love to see Jaden Daniels play one last time. I mean, I'm a fan. I'm his coach, but I'm a fan of Jaden Daniels. But he's got to make, a decision, and clearly I see both sides of it. So we'll provide him with all the things necessary for him to make an informed decision, but he hasn't got to that level yet.
I thought that was a great answer. And, for the record, I thought yesterday's press conference was it was great to hear from Kelly. It was great to get the updates of what was going on with the program. And in true Kelly fashion, I thought he was excellent from a communication standpoint of just kind of giving you some insight. And that answer being a great example of that, talking, just kind of very, realistic in Jaden Daniels' terms of, look, everybody would love for him to play. Makes, from the fan standpoint, you want to watch him as much as you can, and you'd love to see him one last time. And Daniels understands the pros and cons. The head coach Kelly understands the pros and cons of it, and they're still determining on what that's going to be. I'd be shocked if he played. I mean, really, there's so much, the risk versus reward on a guy like Jaden Daniels in a situation like LSU's in for what college football is now, where, the bowls, they don't mean a lot, and LSU going after 10 wins is enormous. And I think getting 10 wins is really something that you can hang your hat on and is an accomplishment for the program. But in these games, individual decisions are made. And from an individualistic standpoint, Jaden Daniels, it doesn't make a lot of sense for him to play.
Brian Kelly's seen it up close and personal. Like, I don't know if y'all remember Jalen Smith, but Jalen Smith was a projected top 5 pick, and they were playing in the Sun Bowl.
Fiesta Bowl.
Fiesta Bowl.
It was a Fiesta Bowl against Stanford, and he blows his knee out, and then he ends up
horribly.
On a freak accident play, and then he ends up going, 3rd round, something like that, to the Cowboys. Didn't even play his rookie season. So, I mean, Brian Kelly has that example to go back on to like talking to Jaden Daniels in the exit meeting, telling him like, okay, like this is what I've seen. So
doesn't make a lot of sense. But look, there's still some things on the board that LSU can accomplish. You know, the Malik Neighbors receiving record, the time that Daniels and Neighbors have spent together. I'm sure there's some discussions behind the scenes of maybe getting those guys the record together and then pulling them immediately. Maybe so.
I'd like that.
If cool. I'm on Daniels' team, if I'm a part of his advisory team, if I'm his agent, if I'm his financial guy, I'm telling him, bro, show up to that game in street clothes and put a headset on and just have a good day. The TV is going to find you all day long. You're going to be the Heisman Trophy winner. You're the best player in the sport. You're a top 10 pick. Don't allow what happened to Trevor Lawrence happen to you, where Will Campbell's just setting back in a block. He steps on your ankle, and the next thing you know, you got question marks around you going into the draft. Just forget it, right? I mean, like, that is seemingly the best business sense of it, but it's a game these guys want to play, and who knows what will happen. If I was voting on it today, and this was a poll, will Jaden Daniels play in the game? In fact, it is the poll at the Jordy Culotta Show that you can find over on YouTube. Will Jaden Daniels start the bowl game? I'm voting right now, and I just clicked no. And with over 80 votes right now, it's divided 63-37 in favor of no. So we'll keep checking back into this poll. And I've seen some of your comments. The best way to get the comments in, they're rolling in. They're hard to keep up with. The super chat. If you want to super chat your comments in, we'll make sure and get those read. So if you have a question that you definitely want answered, best way, easiest way, the way I can tell you we will definitely get to it, see it, answer it, is through the super chat. Going back to that Kelly answer. So that's what he said about Daniels, right? Sorry for Daniels. It sounds like he had a death in the family, so he's dealing with some stuff that's going on off the field. But we should know here pretty quick on what his decision is going to be. The bowl, I would anticipate that he would not play. And then Kelly talking about where they are from an evaluation period right now, just as much as the schedule goes. Last week was all about the players, the exit interviews, meeting with the players individually, letting and scoping out kind of wherever that player was in the sense of the program and what was coming up. This week is about recruiting, right? Transfer portal opened up on Monday. Gabe Relaford making his commitment coming up on Friday. High school state championship games start tomorrow. There's a lot of stuff happening right now in the recruiting world. And then, as he alluded to, the staff, he said that'll take place more next week after most of the recruiting work is done. The player evaluations as far as on the roster, on your current roster, now you got a chance to evaluate your staff. And he said as much that the staff still has responsibility. There's still work left to do as far as fulfilling what their obligation is to the job. So in that sense, I thought Kelly did, while not giving you definitive information, he was sprinkling little bits of kind of nuggets of, look, here's what to look out for.
Here's your timeline.
As far as what could be coming up. And Stewie, this is 5 of him talking more about what the evaluation period of the staff really looks like.
Which is in terms of who will be retained and if there are any changes?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And look, 9-3, we're here to win championships. And so our defense did not play to the level that our standard is set at. Look, nobody is happy, including everybody on the defensive side and the head football coach, that we didn't play the kind of defense necessary. I'm not happy about it. Nobody's happy about it. Our fans shouldn't be happy about it. And we have to do things to make sure that doesn't happen again. But to say that we're just addressing it now is just not correct. We started addressing it after the Mississippi State game, the Mississippi game. That's when addressing our defensive shortcomings began. And so this process has been ongoing. It's not like all of a sudden, hey, by the way, you got to fix the defense. This has been ongoing, and this process has been one where we feel the pain of everybody because we feel it too. And it cannot be the kind of defensive performance we had this past year. It's got to be better, and it will be better.
So Kelly reassuring that there will be changes on the defensive side. The timeline in which he is working on is just it's not ready. He's not ready to announce it. He's not ready to make those changes. He's not ready to make those moves just yet. But it sounds like there is change that is on the horizon. And as he said in the earlier soundbite, that staff evaluations, and they'll really start to look at that next week. So maybe anticipate some change starting to come. Here's more on the defensive side and some explanation from Kelly on where he is and how he sees it.
What do you think?
I don't think that I've ever – look, here's what I can tell you. I was 3 games into a season in 2016 in Notre Dame. I had to fire my defensive coordinator, and he was in my wedding. Those aren't easy decisions, okay? I'm not afraid to make those decisions, and I'm going to do what's best for LSU's football program and the pursuit of a national championship. But I'm going to do it informed. I'm going to do it for what's best for the program because it's involving players, it's involving coaches, it's involving all things as it relates to being more successful as a defense. So it's not on one person. It's collectively. And so if it was that easy, we would have been in a different place. Like I said, I went 3 games into a season and made a change in the leadership. If it was that easy, those decisions are a lot easier.
Oof, they gave up 50 to Texas in that year, then 10 to Nevada, and then 36, and they were 1-2 when he decided to pull the trigger. So you could see that if it was going to be if it was going to be done during the year, I think he would have had a stretch after the Ole Miss game where he would have been able to do a similar thing with Matt House, where it's, okay, if I really wanted to fire him, I could have done this already. That's what, just reading between the lines, it feels like.
Yeah. I mean, again, as we have stated, the feeling that we have is that he is going to bring House back. And even hearing those comments yesterday, I feel more,
entrenched.
Yeah, more confident that is going to be the fact. I believe that House will be giving an opportunity to come back, and there will be some staff changes around him. And they will try to move ahead with what it looks like there. So yeah, I'm with you. I think that there's been opportunity to move on the DC. There's been opportunity to move on everybody, but where you would start, obviously with the top, I believe that.
And I think you saw
we're still here. He's made it.
The House is still here.
Yeah.
And I think you can kind of the farther you get away from. Obviously, it's going to be interesting to look back at this year and see what they did offensively, especially if you have Jaden Daniels that wins the Heisman, and you can look through and see the numbers that were put up. You have a all-time leading receiver in LSU history that was that year, all of these things. But when you look at the defensive side, I mean, they didn't really have a whole lot to work with, considering of what they, like that's what we were talking about before the show, what they didn't get out of the portal, a little bit of injury. Then Matt House became limited in what he could do defensively. So I think all of that together just made it almost feel like a wash for Matt House. It almost bought him a year. If he had everybody healthy and then, everybody had hit in the portal and you have these 5-star guys that came in and played, and you have Greg Brooks and you have a defensive line coach, and then you're still giving up 40 a game, I think that's what you would have seen him probably pull the trigger. But with all the extraneous factors that went in throughout the year, I think you can kind of make the case why Matt House might stay.
Remember Hebert's Specialty Meats. You can find them in Baton Rouge and in Gonzales off of Highway 30 over in Dutchtown and right off of Highland Road here in Baton Rouge and Robert's Grocery Store. Turduckens, turkeys, all of your holiday meats and specials that you're looking for, you can find at Hebert's Specialty Meats, as we said, in Baton Rouge and in Prairieville. And don't forget about the gift cards ideas. For every $100 you spend with Hebert's, they'll give you a $25 gift card for free. So stop in and see Hebert's today. Great gift ideas, turduckens, turkeys, all the specialty meats that you can find over at Hebert's. Highway 30 in Prairieville and right off of Highland Road here in Baton Rouge at Robert's Grocery Store. Same shopping center, same parking lot as Superior Grill over there off of Highland. Behind Superior, you can find Robert's Grocery Store, and within Robert's, there's a section that is dedicated to Hebert's specialty meats, where you can pick up all of your holiday specials and gifts, and you can also pick up your gift cards for every $100 you spend on Hebert's gift cards. They will give you a $25 gift card for free over there at Hebert's specialty meats. So make sure and check them out and remember them coming up here this holiday season. More from Brian Kelly. Here he is speaking. But I did think that was right, that from a insightful standpoint and maybe an informative standpoint, that Brian Kelly did give you a little bit of tidbit of what he's thinking, what his plan of action is going to be here, and the timeline within and the timeline that he's working on. And, you should probably anticipate hearing some type of staff change, some type of movement on the staff as maybe as early of next week.
Wouldn't you think it would kind of go all the way to December 20th, where the early signing period starts? Isn't that what he's at? Like, pretty much telling you that they want to finish up the recruiting, get the guys that have committed to whether it be whoever he's talking about on staff, and then you can thank you for your service. Got the guys in the boat.
Yeah, and I think that's probably within this next few week window. I don't know necessarily if you have to get to the finish line, because I did hear a interview with Gabe Relaford, who our friend Preston Guy over at Tiger Bait did, and it was a fantastic interview. And you could tell when Preston asked him about the status of Jimmy Lindsey, that Gabe Relaford knew something. And I thought for a young man that he handled it very professionally. He handled it fantastic. I mean, kind of on the fly. You could tell he didn't know that the question was coming. But he said, look, it's not my place to put Coach Lindsey's business out on the street. He said, but I know what the plan is at LSU. Like, I know what the deal is at LSU. And he sounded confident that whatever it is, whether it's, Lindsey coming back, or whether it's somebody new, or whether that they're moving on something, Relaford was up to speed on it. And that was the biggest takeaway I took from the answer when he was asked, kind of about, like, who are you talking to over there? Mm-hmm. Like, what's your status like with Jimmy Lindsey? And I just thought that it was a phenomenal answer, and it was insightful to what LSU is telling, recruits, what they're telling people, and it just my takeaway of it. And if you haven't seen it, I would suggest that you go watch the interview with Preston Tiger Bait and Gabe Relaford, because it's obviously it's very relevant with Relaford making his decision coming up on Friday, coming off of an official visit to LSU, and also a trip out west to USC, where he's without telling you where he's going, he's giving you kind of all the buildup and all of the things that he's thinking about to make his ultimate choice, which it sounds like he probably already knows. He's just going to tell the world on Friday.
And you don't want, but you don't want like a situation that you had with James Craig, who was kind of waiting in the wind a little bit, and it felt like he was fired, so he wasn't really recruiting, and then you had to bring in somebody that's essentially mid-season with Brad Davis to be able to get your offensive line straight, and then they're hosting official visits, and they don't know who the offensive line coach is.
Right.
So that's why you don't want that kind of same scenario where if you're a Gabe Relaford, that's why you ask the question, like, who's recruiting you?
Yeah.
And if you wait too long, you have a situation where I don't even know if he's going to be a coach, but he's selling me LSU, but I don't know if I'm going to see him next year.
Right. So what I did take away was that LSU is buttoned up on what they're telling recruits, what they're telling people, what they're telling people that are prospective either employees or players in the organization. They have their plan in place, and people are well understood on it. That was my takeaway from listening to what Relaford said to Preston Guy. Like I said, I would encourage you to go check that interview out over at Tiger Bait. It's a fantastic sit down with one of the best players available in the recruiting cycle, still out there. As Relaford decommitted from Texas A&M last week. He took official visits to Southern California and to LSU. He'll make his college choice coming up here on Friday. Here is more from Kelly. This is 8, Stewie, of him talking about what the plan in the transfer portal is.
The room. Look, I mean, all the questions that you bring up relative to the transfer portal, you answer them as well. Like, your question had an answer to it, right? Look, this is a world that we live in that is got to be handled with transparency. If not, you're going to find yourself without the right personnel. So if we were to ever do anything in the transfer portal relative to a quarterback, we're talking to everybody in that room. And we're talking to recruits. We're talking to everybody. It is about transparency. It's about honesty, and it's about saying, if we're doing that, here's why we're doing it. And then making a decision and doing it. Because, again, the most important thing here is what's in the best interest of LSU's football program, not what's in the best interest of a singular person. So everything that we do in the portal is going to be to that end. It just like I mentioned relative to coaches. I mean, this is not personal, okay? I know it has a personal end of it with families are involved, and they may have to pull their kids out of school, and they may have to move, and that's difficult. But this, at the end of the day, the decisions that I have to make are in the best interest of LSU's football program.
Great answer. I mean, I thought that was a fantastic answer and very refreshing to hear Brian Kelly speak in the sense of, look, it's not easy. You got to have hard choices, hard conversations. You got to make hard decisions to keep the thing competitive, to keep it, producing at a level that can compete for championships. And that answer I thought was fantastic. Here he is talking about more consistency on the defensive side.
So those are all great questions that you look, at the end of the day, you have to factor all of those things in. You're 2 years in. You've developed a culture within your program, a way to communicate, a routine, habits, things that you want your leadership to espouse on a day-to-day basis. You have to factor those in terms of making a decision. But you also have to factor in the play of your defense. And are there things that are correctable, right, under that leadership? Are there things that are not correctable? So all of that has to be considered when making those kinds of decisions.
Kelly was talking about the selection process in the portal, right? When he got here his first year, it was take everybody. Last year, it was more specific to positions, but still at those positions, take everybody. Now, in year 3, what is the process? What's the decision-making look like when he's looking in the portal?
What you guys need to do to find the right fits.
Look at our defense. We took 15 out of the portal, 13 played on defense. We were not a close group. That group was not a close-knit group because they were from different parts. They hadn't played together. We saw how they played earlier in the season. We saw how they played later in the season. So it's I said it many times, it's a red flag when you have to do that. We don't believe that we have to do that. Will we have to take maybe a player here or there at a certain position? Most likely. So we are much more targeted. We're much more focused. The question was asked about, is it defensive line? Is it quarterback? It is much more in that. We were taking literally numbers on defense to really right the ship, if you will, relative to our defensive structure last year. We're not going to have to do that. Right now, we're counting 10 out of our 11 players with the most snaps coming back next year. Now, some might say, well, that's not such a great thing. We think it is because you have experience. We didn't have that last year. So that's where we are relative to the portal.
Wingo? Is that who he's accounting for not coming back?
Me and Lloyd talked about it, and I think I know for sure.
I mean, Ovi Agofu's not going.
He's gone.
Yeah,
he's a senior.
He doesn't have eligibility.
Left.
Right.
Andre
Omar
Sam.
Space doesn't have eligibility left. Andre Sam. Major Burns can come back.
Greg Penn can come back. Sage Ryan can come back. Savion Jones. So the list of 11 would be Major Burns, Greg Penn, Harold Perkins, Sage Ryan, Mason Smith, Savion Jones, Zay Alexander, Braden Swinson, Makai Wingo, Whit Weeks, Taviano. I mean, if you brought all of those back, you feel like you talk about experience.
Yeah, you feel
good about all of those
defense.
guys on the list. These are all players that obviously you want to see more from. Xavion Jones, I think he's just scratching the surface of his potential. Mm-hmm. They did a lot with him in the weight room, and I think he played a little. He
had some moments this season where you could tell, like, talent. The talent
there.
is there, but it's just him figuring out his body and everything.
It was a bad year to not have a D-line coach.
Yeah,
for Xavion Jones.
Terrible.
The rest of those guys have so much experience that they can kind of could figure it out a little bit. Especially talk about a Makai Wingo, but if you put stock in what he's saying, I mean. For those people that are worried about Harold Perkins hitting the portal, that's obviously not a thing. For those people that are worried about what Weeks hitting the portal, that obviously is not a thing. And then if you can get back a Makai or Mason Smith, that's who it would come down to, right, is those two. Mm-hmm. And Omar Spate, does he have another year left?
Not that I'm aware of. I think this was his final year of eligibility.
I think this was his last year of eligibility. And like we talked about earlier, I think the linebacker class that they have coming in, it spells for him to kind of exit.
It could be the best position group that they recruited.
For sure.
Maybe offensive line?
Yeah, offensive line is probably first.
Right.
Just because,
them
building depth.
Numbers and depth and dogs.
Yeah.
I mean,
you go flip a 5-star from
A&M. This is the third straight class that you have that. That's how you
build it.
That's how you build it, right? I mean, that's what they need to do. They need to follow that model, and I think they are. I mean, they're trying to, obviously, at defensive back, defensive line.
I mean, you look at linebacker, coach.
And now linebacker, a couple of classes. I mean, you got Whit Weeks last year. You got Harold Perkins the year before that. Now you bring in guys like Devon Keys and Tylen Singleton. I mean, that's
Atkins.
Yeah.
Xavier Atkins.
Yeah, Xavier Atkins.
He turned himself into a real, inside linebacker. Because, I mean, he was at, Jonesboro Hodge? Mm-hmm. And then he transferred to a school in Texas. And now he's like a true inside linebacker. He's got the size, speed.
He's a player.
I mean, he's catching interceptions in 5A Texas.
Yeah, and Brian Kelly talked about the young players and the development and how important this time of the schedule is. This is 11, Stewie, of Kelly talking about these 15 practices and really who it benefits.
They're important. Here's why they're equally as important as any other time. When we're balancing our roster, I'll give you an example. The Howard kid, right? We held on to him at the 3-game max until A&M. And then we put him in against A&M. He played pretty good. And so he used his 4th game in that last year. We're excited about playing him in the bowl game because he gets that extra game. And so that's what makes this even better, because once they gave us the extra game for the bowl, now you can play all of these guys that got to the limit of 4 and really let's see what they've got, because now they're a full semester or almost a full year in your program, and they're ready to go out and compete. So I think that adds to it in terms of development and playing guys that have gotten their 4 games in.
Good part of evaluation here for young players as far as the practices and the opportunities to go to play in the bowl. Some status of some guys that are curious. This is 12, Stewie, of what is the status right now of Deuce Chestnut and Denver Harris?
You know, we'll have to sit down. We have not sat down with them. We're going to wait till the end of the semester, and then we'll sit down and have individual conversations with both of them. They will not.
So off-season decisions coming for the program between those two guys. I would be surprised if Chestnut came back. I don't know what's going on with Denver Harris. Quit at me. All right.
Well, when you get into that conversation,
I'm going to, so quit asking.
Sam Montgomery is hurt. But when you get into it, I was listening to Shea and Matthew Bruni do their podcast, and he was saying, like, with those guys, the NCAA is tightening up on the second-year transfer portal guys, like the guys that get in the portal and then try to transfer after already using the portal their one time. But they also said that there's abilities for some of these guys to get a waiver. So if Deuce Chestnut wanted to leave, you could do, like, proximity to home, mental health, those type of things where the NCAA could possibly grant you a waiver. But the flip side of that is when you take kids in the portal that are not either seniors or redshirt seniors or have 1 year of eligibility left, now you're stuck with these two guys on the roster that are essentially taking up two spots that you don't know if they're ever going to play.
Right.
And so that's like the danger of taking a freshman or a sophomore in the portal where they either have to sit out a year and go somewhere, or you have them on the team where they're like, well, I don't want to leave because I'm still a scholarship player, or they have to go the JUCO route.
Yeah, no, it's a little bit of a spot from a standpoint. It goes to evaluation, it goes into development, and it goes into fit. I mean, and it's kind of an off-brand term around here that you want to find fit. But I mean, as far as the fit goes, you got to make sure. I mean, you bring somebody down from the Northeast that has no idea about the just the way of life. The heat, the humidity.
He hated the heat.
I mean,
that man was fighting for his life in
you?
camp.
I mean, it would be like you moving to Syracuse and dealing with the winter.
Yeah,
you'd be like, what?
I mean, I've been playing at the dome, coach. Like, we practice in the dome.
Or I mean, like, I haven't seen snow since I went to college. Since I left Louisiana. I mean, like, you never see this stuff. I mean, for them to experience just things that are different. You know, I mean, you have to account for that. And if you take somebody in that realizes in year one, like, this is too much, it's too hot,
I can't do this,
I'm not doing this.
Well, especially if you parlayed that with the fact that maybe I'm not going to play as much as I thought I was going to play, and then I really just don't even enjoy it here.
Sure.
Because the one thing I came down here was for football. Like, he was trying to come to a big name school where he was able to improve his draft stock after, 2 pretty good years at Syracuse, where this is the next jump for you, and I could put myself on the map to get drafted. And then when it goes the opposite way, I can see why Deuce Chestnut's kind of looking around and going, when can I leave? Because this is not what I want. This did not work out the way that I thought it was going to. He bet on himself, but there's a chance that it doesn't work out for you.
Jaden Daniels is going to be in New York City this weekend, and he will be a part of the Heisman Trophy finalist. Brian Kelly was speaking about the advantages of having a Heisman Trophy finalist on the roster and what it means in recruiting as far as selling the message.
Well, I think all of them go to certainly if you come to LSU, you keep the dream alive for this, right? Everybody has a dream of being a Heisman Trophy winner or winning the Blitnikoff or winning, any of the trophies that are on display in the front of our lobby. It's not something that you can't achieve. So when you have a situation where in 19 we had a Heisman Trophy winner and hopefully we have one in 23, that's pretty powerful. That's really powerful when you have 2 Heisman Trophy winners in such a short period of time, especially at the quarterback position. So I would not minimize the importance of that in the ability to recruit and the ability to retain.
Huge news shaking out of the SEC right now as some breaking news. Mike Elko adding offensive coordinator Colin Klein to the staff, who is the offensive coordinator at Missouri and had Missouri really producing at a high clip on that side of the ball, had a ton of respect. You could see from around the league. It really had boosted the Missouri brand. But Elko starting to put his staff together as he brings in and tabs Klein as the next offensive coordinator in College Station. So heads up, that shakes up a couple of SEC schools here this morning, as obviously the addition for A&M, but making Missouri a little bit weaker here is as they go into their bowl preparation for an Ohio State game and the Cotton Bowl. It'll be interesting to see how they handle this, losing their play caller. That's a big one.
Colin Klein's from Kansas State, correct? That's
yes,
that's
Kansas State
Kansas
quarterback.
State. Yeah, so I knew that. That's what I'm interested to see because he was Mr. Kansas State.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like they loved him, but some of his numbers from 2023, top 25 in total offense, top 25 in red zone offense, 37 points per game, 434 yards per game, 11th in points per drive, 11th overall in scoring. Kansas State also ranked 13th out of 14th in teams in the Big 12 in overall composite talent. So you get him some guys that can go. I'd imagine this offense is going to travel a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's why you have guys
I
like...
screwed that up bad.
That's okay.
I screwed that up real bad.
Yeah,
My head was somewhere else. Sorry about that.
Wait, you said he was Missouri?
Missouri.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
It was a good spin. It was a good spin zone, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
started with
was.
Missouri in the bowl
Right,
game,
right,
lose their
right,
offensive
right,
coordinator.
right. My fault.
Now you just say, now look at Kansas State in the bowl game, lose their offensive coordinator. It'll be interesting to see how they perform.
Wrong one.
But this is why you have guys like Evan Stewart, any of the top flight kind of A&M position players, skill players that are probably like, hold on, I might be interested.
Let's not flirt with that portal just yet.
Let's see this Colin Klein offense and see what the OC's like.
Elko, man, that's they're making moves already here, and this is what we were talking about the time of the schedule. This is such a crucial time in the schedule, obviously, with the portal, with recruiting, and with just with what's going on right now in college football. And speaking of what's going on, Brian Kelly was asked about the college football playoff committee and the decision they made to leave Florida State out after an undefeated season and including a one-loss SEC champ.
Well, it was probably the most difficult one that they were confronted with. But, look, we knew that there were 5 conferences from the very beginning, and there's only 4 spots. So if you did the math, you just needed to look at the 5 conference champions and say there's 4 slots. And, look, we played Florida State and we played Alabama. 2 outstanding football teams. But the 2 football teams were different at the end of the season than they were at the start of the season. So I think that from my perspective, unfortunately, Florida State was not the same team earlier in the year than they were later in the year because of the injury to the quarterback. And look, you can take that for whatever you want, but if only 4 of the conference championship teams can go, and there's 5, you're splitting hairs because they're all great teams, but only 4 can go, and there's 5 conference champions. And I think the committee had to figure out if you're going to sit one of them out, maybe it's got to be the one that lost their quarterback. Again, I don't know. I certainly didn't sit in there, but I can see where they came from with the decision that they made.
One more.
Great, thank you.
One more
Welcome.
one more from Kelly on. Did he watch? This is 7. Did he watch the Pac-12 game on Friday night, where it feels like was the epic shift in feeling of Jaden Daniels becoming the front runner for the Heisman?
I'm a Jaden Daniels fan. I was watching the game too. Yes. I was not looking for anyone not to succeed. I wanted them to play their very best. I was looking for a great game. And that I was looking for both teams to play at their very best, but I wanted to see, how he measured up to who were going to be his chief competition, because I hadn't watched him play all year. It wasn't that I had this opportunity to sit down and watch Oregon play or sit down and watch Washington play. So it was an opportunity for me to sit and watch both of them play. And, my unbiased opinion is Jaden Daniels is the best player in college football.
Remember our friends over at Hughes Mechanical HVAC service. You can find them online at hughesmechanical.net. Travis Hughes and the crew can get you set up today. Great Daikin dealer over there with great warranty. If you want to check that out over at Hughes Mechanical. Residential or commercial HVAC services available. Headquartered in Zachary with offices in Covington. Check them out all along I-10. They can help you out from Lafayette to the North Shore and everywhere in between. Hughes Mechanical Contractors. Tell Travis Hughes and his crew that you heard it right here. 658-2147, 225 area code or online. HughesMechanical.net. Hour 2 next. Jacques going to be through here At 8 a.m., we're going to talk to Michaela Williams, one of the top freshman basketball players in the country, as she's averaging 17 here early on through her first 9 games in college, including a 40-point effort earlier this season versus Kent State. We'll talk to her about what the transition has been like between high school and college, which she anticipates once they get back on the floor after exams wrap up later this week. So a lot to get to in the second hour. Remember, if you don't mind, hit that like button, the share button, comment button if you don't mind. If you want to get some chats in, if you want to get your thoughts across, if you have a question that you want to get in, remember the best way to do that is through a super chat is where you can find us or where you can guarantee that question will be asked. Your thought will be heard if you just want to hit us with a super chat inside of the chat spot right there on YouTube. Subscribe if you have not done so before you get out of here, and we'll be back with Hour 2 as always, built by R&B, live here from our campus on Click Here Digital, at Click Here Digital, which you can find our crew online at clickheredigital.com.
It's time to go harder. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up.
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Here you go.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Hey Tiger fans, when you're traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit Tom and Wright Granning at Go Mart and On The Go Deli, where you can fill up your tank and your belly. Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip. Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left. Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, where the Po' Boys are so good you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
All right, buddy. Make it a good shot.
Oh, yeah.
Sticking the roof in.
For a hole in your roof, for a whole new roof, go roof. Roof, roof, go roof.
Hey, Greg, the roof up?
Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up?
Roof's up.
Roof's up! Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
Well, the Ochsner Andrews Sports Medicine Institute collaborative effort was an idea from Dr. Andrews and myself to bring together 2 great names, the Andrews name and the Ochsner name, to elevate the quality of care for athletes in the state of Louisiana, where he's from.
I always thought I would come back to Louisiana and practice orthopedics with my subspecialty being sports medicine. This was an opportunity through Ochsner's to come back and work the entire state to help develop and take sports medicine to a new level.
As an orthopedic surgeon, what this means in the future in terms of, access for our community to the type of care that Dr. Andrews pioneered, words can't describe how valuable that is.
Ochsner has a great opportunity here to really grow, and Dr. Burnham, of course, is the mainstay of making that happen. If you want to have first-class sports medicine care, check in with Dr. Burnham and his group, and you'll be more than impressed and pleased.
I'm Tom Granick with Gil Martin, Wardo's Po' Boys in Natchez, Mississippi. On behalf of the Granick family, we invite you to run, walk, or stroll in the second annual Rudolph Roll. Held on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, this holiday event will kick off at 8 a.m. on December 9th and will include a 10K, 5K, and 1 mile kids fun run. Along with the race, there will be live music, drinks, and of course, Po' Boys. We're looking forward to an even bigger party this year. For more information, please check out the link on Wardo's Facebook page or scan the QR code. Hope to see y'all there.
Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. They say that life's a marathon, man, shout out to Nip. They start to think you falling off and they starting to flip. Circumstances start to change and they jump in the ship. Only ones that really matter who's tied to your hip. They tried to push you to the side cause they thought you would quit. May bend but never break, your cloth is legit. When you return in rare form, they all gonna be sick. You ever seen a living legend, just know that I'm it. Slow grind like IT, just know that I'm it. Now I'm back up in my bag, I'm giving them fits. Bouncing back like John Morant, you know that I'm lit. Making plays like Jacques.
All right, welcome back here. Jordy Culotta Show live here this Wednesday morning from our Click Here digital campus. Make sure and give us a subscription before you get out of here. Like, share, follow. Our Wednesday show, we always look forward to getting our friend in here, Jacques from WAFB. Jacques, of course, the Sports 9 director over there. We're going to be joined by Michaela Williams here in about 30 minutes, so a good second hour for you coming up here on the show. Make sure and give us a like and share before this second hour gets moving. Jacques is in studio just like he is every single week here with us. Good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm certainly the opening act for Michaela Williams. This is like Poison leading to Led Zeppelin or something.
It is. No, it's a couple of headliners. It is a couple of headliners. Looking forward to talking to Michaela, obviously through 9 games, averaging 17. Very soon. She's had the 40-point game already under her belt with the performance versus Kent State. You saw her play a little bit in high school?
Yeah, I think last year, right after LSU's bowl game, I made a trip up to the Shreveport-Bossier area and did a story on her. They were playing Bird, and then I covered her in the state championship in Hammond. I think they played Ponchatoula again. I think that the year before they lost.
That's right. She was like counting down the days.
Heartbreaker, and then this time was a no-brainer. I remember late in the first half of that game, she took it down the floor and just kind of 1-on-5, just let it fly from about 25 feet and sunk it, and it was like a Bo Jackson. She charged into the locker room and then ran off the court to end the first half. But yes, covered a little bit, a couple of games.
Yeah.
But a phenomenal talent, and I think we talked about it. She's strong. She can get in there and rebound, and then the fadeaway is almost you can't defend it almost.
Yeah. And her pull-up jumper. I mean, like, last week against Virginia Tech, she brought the ball down the floor a couple of times and just dribbled into a pull-up from about 18, 19 feet and didn't even hit the rim. I mean, it was
straight into a back pedal.
Kobe-type stuff. I mean, it was to see the way she plays and, yeah, her strength. Looking forward to getting her in here and having a chance to talk to her here.
And women's basketball, you'll enjoy her for at least 3 years.
Right, I agreed.
You know?
Stewie and I were talking about that, like a player like Williams, does she even – think about going pro? I mean, I guess we can ask her, but it seems like her brand would almost be bigger in college than it would be at the W. A lot like Angel. You know what I mean? A lot like Angel Reese. All right, Jacques, you were in there yesterday. You asked Coach Kelly a couple of questions after meeting with him for the first time since the Texas A&M game. We were talking a little bit coming in. I thought it was a very informative, very intriguing press conference that he offered up a lot of information.
Yeah, I know actions speak louder than words, and fans want to see that defense get fixed. But from a press conference perspective, I thought he was extremely fiery, passionate. He did not come across as a guy who has got a bunch of money and isn't worried about the future of LSU football. Right. I loved his answers about having to possibly make changes on the staff and how he let his defensive coordinator, who was in his wedding, go 3 years into 2016. And I'm not afraid to make the big decisions, and I'm not. This is not about a singular person. This is about the future of LSU football. So I thought his 2 answers on possible defensive staff changes and the transfer portal, and I think you and I have both heard that we expect LSU to go out and get a quarterback in the transfer portal, and it is a very tricky situation to navigate when you have one guy on the roster already in Garrett Nussmeier, and then recruits down the road who want to know, okay, how much eligibility does that transfer have, and when do I get to play, and so forth. And then there's also the aspect of somebody over there told me if Garrett Nussmeier would enter the transfer portal, he'd be a top 5 quarterback prospect out there. So it's always like the grass is always greener on the other side. So I thought it was a very good press conference. There weren't any questions about Wisconsin. I don't think anybody really asked about that. It was kind of more about a State of the Union future of the program.
What did you take on his answer on the staff?
I don't think that Matt House at this point totally feels out of the woods. It's been 10 days, I guess, since the A&M game or something like that. It'll be 2 weeks this Saturday. So I don't think Matt House is taking a victory lap and thinking that I'm back next year. But I would have to think that there are going to be some changes to the other assistants. It'd be my guess at this point. But look, and he said it. He goes, it's not personal. There's a personal end of it where they got to take kids out of school and move, and that's the hard part of it. And look, I've heard some things, and these coaches know what they sign up for, and they get big salaries. But it's kind of like politicians. The kids are off limits, and I hear that some of the children of some of the assistants have been harassed, by fellow students or people that have gotten their phone numbers and stuff like that. So that's a nasty aspect of it. So we'll see what happens. But I think the Jaden, whether he plays or not, is a pretty fascinating topic. I've heard in the beginning, Jaden wants to play. Jaden wants to play. And then you hear in this new NIL era, can somebody cut a check and say, Jaden, play the first half.
An appearance fee.
For $1 million. I don't know if LSU's going to beat Wisconsin 63-7 like they did Purdue last year. But if it's something similar, okay, we take you out halftime. Nuss, you play the second half. Get Malik the record. And I think there's also something to be said about just Jaden being in Tampa all week as the Heisman Trophy winner if he wins the Heisman. Strengthening our brand. There he is at the press conferences. There he is at the beach, all that kind of stuff. But then I also think what I've heard, it's not so much about if he gets injured or not. It's Wisconsin just does not move the needle with him. This matchup doesn't do a lot for him in terms of if it would have been Notre Dame, if it had been Oregon, even an NC State team that's ranked in 9-3. This is a meh matchup with a 7-5 team that is unranked. And when you're LSU's ranked pretty high. They're 13th. I would have hoped for a better matchup, but they didn't get one. So I'd heard talks about LSU going to the Gator maybe to play Notre Dame. That didn't come. I think this thing was kind of ping-ponging back and forth Sunday, and this is where we landed. Beautiful destination, sandy beaches, Florida, great, but the game doesn't do a lot. So I kind of feel like it's the Devin White thing. Remember Devin White? Is he going to come back? And it went down to the wire, and it's like, he might come back next year. And then somebody, an adult, finally steps in and says, you're going pro.
Yeah, right.
And he's a top 5 pick. Yeah. So I kind of wonder if this is the same thing where, like Aaron Rodgers, too, like somebody said, an adult needs to step in and say, Aaron, you're not playing. And it may be the same thing. Look, Jaden, you're going to make millions in the NFL.
Yeah. Risk versus reward.
Risk versus reward.
Wait, because there's not a chance that he wouldn't do anything in this bowl game that would build his draft stock. There's not a chance for him to show and play one more time. And that convinces people, we have to take him in the first round now. He's not going to play his way into a better spot, it doesn't seem like. It would be more of just one last time because it still feels like Malik is going to play because he wants the record, and that's that.
And I covered that Citrus Bowl when LSU played Louisville. Lamar Jackson won the Heisman, and he played, and LSU shut him down. They didn't score a touchdown.
I know.
They got beat 29-9.
They beat the hell out of him.
Yeah.
I mean, they crushed him.
I mean, Arden Key, I think, got a safety, and
Devin White.
Devin White.
Duke Riley, Tre'Davious White. There was some serious defensive talent on that.
I mean,
2016
Jamal Adams.
team.
That's the play that I remember from that game. Jamal Adams running across the field to bring Lamar down.
Bring him down, yeah. Yeah, that was kind of like on the days that Lamar struggled, purple and gold glasses, I said, he got his first taste of the NFL in that game.
He did. He definitely did. Duke Riley. Man, they made plays that day.
Devon Gottschall.
Yeah, they were
a lot of.
Yeah, he should have had an adult in his ear saying, I don't know if you want to play that defense going into the draft.
He got a lot of good players over there.
A lot of NFL players over there.
If they do get off the bus, it could be a long day for you.
Malachi Dupree, perhaps unfortunately, had the game of his life.
He caught that one-handed. He kept that one-handed catch.
Across the middle.
Yeah,
he had a huge game, and then he went pro. So it would
he
be
didn't
nice
have
to
an
see him
adult
come
in
back
his
for another
life.
year.
Malachi's got a great sushi restaurant in New Orleans now. Yeah. Fantastic sushi restaurant down in New Orleans. If you're looking for a new place to eat, but
I remember going to Christ the King one time.
You're looking for a spot to eat, but I mean, if he comes back, he would have been on the 18 team, right?
17.
He'd have been on Burrow's first team.
No, he would have been on the 17 team.
Okay,
that was Ogeron took over for less than 16, and they played Louisville, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So
Jacques from
he would have been in the Air Canada attack the next
right.
Oh, yes. He really missed out.
The motion.
Let's see how much motion you can do. Put that on tape.
I just remember Matt Canada's first practice. Bang, bang, bang. That's what he always would say. It's like, it's here, it's there, it's bang, bang, bang.
That's right.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I mean, he just
got
fired with Pittsburgh. Like, he's still working.
Another buyout.
What a strange
Joe
marriage.
Brady.
What a strange
Get
marriage.
the Bills right.
Yeah.
Jacques, what's this weekend do for New Orleans, for LSU? You and I were there the last time LSU had a representative in New York, Heisman Trophy. I said yesterday it's an all-time assignment. I think it was one of the coolest things that I have covered in this job was going on that trip, going to Legends, seeing Burrow walk through Times Square with the Heisman Trophy, going to the hotel after party with all the LSU contingency that was there. I mean, it was a huge deal. I mean, you could just feel the weight of it. What's this weekend kind of mean for LSU football to be back? Because even when I left there in 19, I kind of thought, "I'll never be back here again." This is great.
Yeah. Well, if you've never been to New York City, the first thing that strikes you is just humanity.
Yeah.
There are people everywhere, hordes of people here, left, right. I mean, it's just so many people. You press the elevator and you hear ding ding, and there's like 15 elevators. I'm on elevator 7. I mean, it's not being in Meridian, Mississippi, where there's one in front of you and you're going up. But I think that if LSU can have 2 Heisman Trophy winners at the quarterback position in 5 years, at a program that was known as a quarterback killer for a long time, or could not produce at the position, and it's just free advertising galore. It
is. It's.
Yeah, I mean, no matter how you feel about Ed Ogeron, that Heisman Trophy speech and Joe Burrow choking up and Ed Ogeron choking up. I mean, even the most red-blooded of tough guys got tears in their eyes watching that. And so that's the kind of stuff that there's not a price tag on that. It's just for your brand, for your school. Skip Burtman said, it's the front porch of your house, okay, athletics. And I never forget, leaving that morning on Sunday, it was a quiet, and from afar, I could see Times Square, and I could see the picture of Joe Burrow rotating on the big video screen. It's like, holy cow, this really happened.
All right.
So, and also, I mean, let's not forget about the guys who were also finalists. I mean, Jalen Hurts was there. Who is now, what he's done in the NFL, and then 2 guys from Ohio State. It was Justin Fields and the defensive lineman, Young?
Chase Young.
Chase Young, he was there. And so you get to interview all 4 people and be up there. And so, yeah, it's huge. I've shot a lot of interviews today. Darren and I this week, and Darren shot a lot of interviews with me, and I got a lot of fish in the boat that I got to clean and a lot of stuff to edit and get done. We went to John Robinson's house.
Wow.
The Hall of Fame. USC Trojans, Los Angeles Rams, 88 years young. He still lives here. And he's coached or been around at least 3 Heisman Trophy winners, Charles White, Marcus Allen, and then Joe Burrow in 19. So we had a great talk with him. We went and saw Jack Marucci and his sidekick, Mario Macaluso. They showed me some stuff that Jaden has used this year. If kids from the 80s who remember the movie Tron, where they put these this thing on their face, like these goggles, and Jaden puts this on, and then it's like a video game. He sees the other 10 guys in front of him, and then Marucci will punch up a defense, like, okay, we're dropping 8 or whatever the defense is, and then Jaden with the thing on, he drops back and then he throws, and it's got a motion sensor or whatever where so he's reading the defense. He said, now the other people over there said, yeah, this really helped him, but Jaden improved because Jaden worked in the offseason.
Sure.
But they used this the first week. Mississippi State game was the first week, and he goes 30 for 34 that week with 2 drops. And Marucci said, we're putting it on the speed that we're putting it on when he's wearing it is 70% faster than the game itself. So it's almost like when he's getting in the game, that's almost slower for him. And he's throwing the spots now and stuff, and guys are running the spots and everything. So we shot that interview, and we're going to show that sometime this week. It was really cool. I mean, you will never pick your favorite restaurant. You say you never have a bad meal. You never have a bad interview with Jack Marucci.
That's right.
Like, ever.
That's right.
Like, you go there, and he's going to tell you some stuff. Oh, okay.
Blow your mind. He's always got 1-2 things that you're like, wow, that's incredible. Like, I mean, just like this mind-blowing statistic, story.
I think after 19, he was talking about Thaddeus Moss and how Thaddeus could see better out of one eye than the other.
Jacoby Stevens.
That
he would run. So they started to blitz him off the right side because his dominant vision was off of that. And like when they made the movie, it was like he went on a game where he got like 3 straight games in a row where he had sacks. I mean, it was something crazy.
Yeah,
it was nuts.
It's a lot. We've come a long way from the chalkboard.
Right.
We interviewed Joe Sloan. Did some with him. Interviewed Kim Mulkey yesterday. Kim Mulkey talks football better than any of us. I mean, it's amazing. Like you look at all the quarterbacks. There ain't one guy that doesn't control the game like Jaden does. I mean, she's just spitting it out left and right. And I interviewed Burrow's dad yesterday, Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy.
I interviewed Jimmy Burrow yesterday, had him take me down memory lane from 4 years ago, and he says, no doubt, Jaden's the best. I mean, these are obviously all biased people, but it's just funny to hear from him and say that they think he's going to win. Jay Johnson, too, went and talked to him about Jaden. I talked to some people outside of football just to get their thoughts on him.
Because Jay Johnson, big college football fan.
Big college, I mean, just big sports, sports fan. His dad is a famous high school football coach and track coach, I believe, in California.
Right.
So he grew up all around it. I think Jay would say, well, there wasn't room for many 5'7", 140,
college running back. He played running back for his dad.
Guys.
Yeah.
But by the way, if you haven't been to LSU Alec Box lately and inside the upgrades they've done with the 2023 National Championship, like if you go into the lobby, the championship's right there. They got a full wall photo taking up the whole wall of them on the field in Omaha right after winning. There's a new painting up with Skip, Maneri, and Jay and the championships. Wow. And you walk down the hall, there's all this new digital, like lit up stuff. I saw they digitized all the dog piles. That's it, yeah.
Like 91, 93, 96, 97, 2000. I mean, it looked awesome. And then I saw some of the pictures you put out that looked fantastic.
I had 5, Jordy, 5.
Never lost. They remind you. Dude,
yeah.
5 for 5. Like, never lost.
It's funny. He loves talking about Saban. And he's like, people say, hey, Nick, you won. I mean, Nick has won 7 at this point, 6 and 1 at LSU. Nick, you've won 7. He says, yeah, but I lost those 3. Lost 3. See, he hates to lose a lot more than he likes to win. See.
Speaking of losing, JD, and you're somebody that...
who's a loser?
No, that very much loves the Saints. and has covered the Saints from the glory day. What do you make of where they are right now?
Stewie, I have one assignment for you today, if you can. I don't want to pile on. I need a split screen of Robbie Williams. You remember Robbie Williams? He was in the band Take That. He was in a boy band called Take That. They had a song, Whatever I Said, Whatever I Did, I Didn't Mean It, 1995.
Oh, wow, okay.
And then he was a solo artist. He had that song Millennium and Angels. Anyway, every time I look at Derek Carr, I think of Robbie Williams. I think that they look very much alike. He was a huge star. They just did a documentary on him. He was huge almost everywhere but America. But I think that when Detroit Lions fans come in and take over the Superdome, that is a different day.
Yeah.
Right? Like the Steelers, okay, they got this rabid fan base.
Right.
And
even like Atlanta.
Yeah.
They'll travel, for a Saints game.
But it was almost sad. The Saints fans had predetermined they were booing Sunday. I mean, they went in there, ticked off, and it was 21-0.
Yeah.
7 minutes into the game. I almost was, when Carr got hurt, I was having flashbacks to Jim Moore. You remember when, I think it was Tommy Kramer or one of those quarterbacks got hurt and they took him out and the crowd cheered because they were sick of seeing him. And Jim Moore was like, "You people are sick. You're sick. That's what you are. You cheer for an idiot. You're sick." I was wondering if when Carr got tackled and got knocked out, are they going to cheer? But I just think it's, holy cow, how much money did they pay for him? And it's not working out. And Dennis Allen, just not exuding the kind of just leadership and turn this around that they want to see. And they just do things that losing teams do. Like Carr started playing well. He started getting in a rhythm. They started moving the ball. And then he turns to hand the ball off, and it's a friendly fire. James Hurst, offensive lineman, runs into him, fumbles the ball. Detroit scores. Next play, Superman's into the end zone.
Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, like the old
Alabama, yes.
Oh, in reverse, too.
I mean.
And that was it. That's your game right there. You got a chance. Okay, we got the ball. Our offense is hot. We got a chance to go down. Instead, we fumble it away, give up a touchdown, and that's the game.
I got that picture for you, too.
You got it.
Mashed up.
Okay, Robbie Williams and, okay.
I can see it.
Maybe I could find a better one. Not the Stu did a great job. Anyway, maybe in motion, but there's a documentary on Robbie Williams who plays stadiums across the world. Over here, he could walk around.
One thing's for certain is Robbie Williams was better on a microphone than old Derek Carr is. I think that's safe to say.
I don't want to pile on Derek Carr. I mean, I like the guy. He seemed to say everything in the offseason. He loves New Orleans. He's invested. There's just even the play that he was intercepted on. They said that somebody was running wide open across the middle. Yeah. I mean, he had to hit the guy in the hands. Jawan Johnson dropped the ball or whatever. And so it just feels like every time the Saints come on, I'm like, okay, do I want to watch them? They're going to do one of two things. They're going to start fast, and they're going to get me into the game. Right. And then they're going to lose it at the end.
Yeah, they check me out, and
or they're going to suck at the beginning, and then they're going to lure me back in and make a comeback. And then, so, I mean, they have won 5 games, but like we said, the schedule was cake. This was set up for them against backup quarterbacks, and they were to really, win 10, 11 games, make the playoffs, and not looking good at this moment. I haven't even really mentioned the fact that the Saints are playing in Tampa the day before LSU plays.
That's right.
I'm just not really excited about it at this point.
That's right. I saw that they're in Raymond James the day before LSU's game. So does this Wisconsin game, do you think at all that it moves the meter? Do you think that you'll see a travel? Do you think that?
I mean, I don't want to badmouth it. I hope a bunch of LSU fans go. But if you're an LSU fan and you're looking at your dollar, especially with inflation and everything now,
tickets are cheap though.
They are cheap.
Yeah. Pretty cheap for a bowl game, in Florida.
They probably end up giving them away.
Yeah.
I wonder what are the hotels like in Tampa, and you got to fly. It's a long drive. I mean, it's like an 11-hour drive. You would drive over there, so all that, I guess. But do you say, okay, I'm gonna save my money if LSU goes back to Omaha in baseball, or the season opener next year for LSU football in
Women's
Vegas,
Final Four,
Women's Final Four in Cleveland, those different things. Do you just say, okay? I'm gonna
Cleveland.
Ugh. Yeah. Cleveland.
Who's going to Cleveland?
I went there. LSU went there the year they lost to Rutgers. That was when Starkey took over the team for Pokey Chapman.
That's right.
And they beat UConn. They beat UConn like a drum in Fresno, California. Yeah, Gino and all that. Sylvia Fowles killed them. That was a famous press conference where Bob Starkey got up before the game and said, Gino R.M., he's better looking than me. He's better dressed than me. He's the greatest coach of all time, or one of them, blah, blah. And then so Gino came in. I said, Bob Starkey says you're better looking, you're better dressed, you're a much better coach. He goes, true. That's all true. He goes, but he's got Sylvia Fowles.
That's right.
And that was the difference. Sylvia Fowles killed him. But yeah, that was the and they went and they played Rutgers, and they were terrible. That was the Don Imus controversy. Remember Don Imus?
Oh yes, and Rutgers basketball.
Rutgers basketball. I didn't know. I think a lot of people didn't even know Don Imus was still on the air.
I did not.
And when that thing blew up, Vivian Stringer and all that. I mean, they started going on Oprah and disrespected us and racial and sexist and blah blah blah. That was an ugly thing.
It was. I mean, the things he said was vile, though. I mean, like how he did not think he was going to get pushback for that. I mean,
yeah,
it was almost like you're trying to
How
controversy.
That's really removing the needle, Don. I think you're done.
I mean, like
I was watching that live.
You sure you want to say that, buddy?
He got fired. The Rock and Roll
Straight
Hall of
to
Fame.
commercial.
Yeah, that's right. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Steve Schneider and I were there. We tried to go. Van Halen had just gotten inducted, so I wanted to go see
Jacques.
Yeah. So I tried to go see the exhibit. There were so many people because it was like the off day, and they were also we didn't even fight the crowd. But yeah, Cleveland in late March, April is not a beautiful destination.
That's right. The mistake by the lake. All right, JD, sports director over at 9. You on the desk today?
I am, and then I fly to New York City tomorrow to cover the Heisman. We'll start coverage, hopefully live shots at 6 and 10 Thursday, and then coverage Friday and into Saturday, and hopefully we come back and JD5 is your Heisman Trophy winner.
Jacques Doucet, who is the sports director over at WAFB, make sure and follow him on social media. You make sure and want to keep up with him over the next couple of days as he will be live from New York, keeping up with, obviously, the Heisman Trophy and what's going on over there. Any other announcements, Red Rock and Blue, we need to be looking out for?
No, well, we got the state championships this week.
That's right.
Kevin Baptiste and John Eads will cover that for us here back home. And that's about it for now. Red Rock and Blue, if you ever want to sponsor or be a part of it, you know where to find me. Contact me. I'd love to make you a part of it. At the beginning of next year, we'll start to talk about that and try to have a catery reunion again and do some things like that.
Beautiful. Remember, Katie's in New Orleans, Katie's Restaurant in New Orleans on Iberville Street. Check them out online, katie'sinmidcity.com. Great New Orleans favorites, TVs, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sundays. Great spot to watch NFL football. katie'sinmidcity.com. Michaela Williams when we come back here on the Jordy Culotta Show live here from Click Here Digital.
Like I'm whipping a Tesla. Pressure never fazed me because I'm bigger than pressure. I'm on my grind, bullshit. Can't fit on my schedule. I'ma do what's best with me. You can keep all your lectures. Spend the
If you're in the market for a mortgage lender, you need to start with Doug Bickley and his team. Bickley has built a crew with over 50 years of combined lending experience. They've been in business for over 20 years, and they love helping their clients achieve the American dream of home ownership. They're also key with working in real estate agents and helping their clients getting same-day pre-approval. They average about one buyer a day getting them in a home. If you want to get in touch with Doug and his crew, it's easy. Call them 225-214-5154. 225-214-5154. Go see the Bickley team today. They're located on the corner of Coursey Boulevard and Sherwood Forest right here in Baton Rouge.
What's up?
What's happening?
Chilling with a couple of cool guys. You?
Chilling and watching some tube. Hold on.
Did you do it?
Hold on. Did you do it?
Roof's up.
Hold on.
Roof's up?
Roof's up!
Roof's up!
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Head health is incredibly important for our student athletes. One of the best ways we're trying to address concussions is on the front end. We're trying to prevent these before they happen. And a big part of that is speaking to the athletes, letting them know what to expect. Okay, speaking to the parents, what to look out for, talking to the coaches so they know the vital importance. Some of the big things we're looking for with a concussion, which is, a traumatic brain injury, is one, was there a mechanism? Was there an injury that took place that could lead to this? Often a direct blow to the head, a head-to-head hit. If someone's showing signs of concussion, our first step is always to remove them from activity, get them to a place where there's less stimuli, where we can really just sit down and get a feel for the athlete, what they're feeling. We're looking for headache, we're looking for dizziness, any sign that coordination is off, that something's just not right. Get a good evaluation of them to understand what's going on. It's not worth the risk that may be there to kind of ignore it, because there are very serious consequences if we don't treat a concussion properly.
Don't let concerns about shifts in the market disrupt your long-term financial goals. Edward Jones financial advisor Daniel Newman can help. He'll work with you on an investment strategy for long-term results. Edward Jones can give you the tools and knowledge for a steady approach to hitting your financial targets. Get started today by calling Daniel Newman at 225-261-8262. 225-261-8262. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Click Here Digital, the home of the Jordy Culotta Show. Online at clickheredigital.com. If you're looking to set Google ads, set social media campaigns, learn about SEO, display video, or even creative, Click Here Digital has the answer for you. Online at clickheredigital.com or email me directly, Jordy at clickheredigital.com.
Again, this year, we're giving away bikes all across the state of Louisiana. In fact, this year is a record number. We're giving away 488 bikes. Go to GordonGives.com for more information and details. And look, it's not just me. It's everybody at our company across the state of Louisiana. At Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, we're all participating in this process, and we're so excited to be giving away a little cheer, Christmas spirit, and everything else this time of year. So God bless. Go to GordonGives.com for more details. Merry Christmas, Louisiana.
Okay, Gordon, ready to talk a little bit about yourself today? Okay, good. Tell us, who is Gordon McKernan?
Great question. In a lot of ways, I'm just like most people. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a son. I am a brother. I'm a Christian. I am a Tigers fan. I am a Louisiana sportsman. But above all, I am grateful to the people of Louisiana. We want to be your lawyers for life. Hi, I'm Gordon McKernan. Everyone has a special Christmas memory. One of mine is when I woke up on Christmas morning, ran down the stairs, and there it was, a brand new red bicycle.
That is why this Christmas, Gordon McKernan is giving away over 425 bicycles throughout the state of Louisiana.
To register, please fill out a form online at GordonGives.com or GetGordon.com. And make sure to visit the Get Gordon Facebook page for additional details and chances to win. From all of us here at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, Merry Christmas and God bless.
Offensive player of the game from LSU, Joe Burrow.
Football is life. Football is Joe Burrow.
Let's be special. Let's be strong. Let's smell greatness from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, stacking bread, might be gone to November. Pulling up like Trae Young just to freeze up December. I got niggas on the blood like traditional sinners. OGs love me, so I hang with traditional winners. I took a break for a minute, I had to go charge up. Had to focus on my business, I'm coming back smarter. Hit up DJ, tell him go like I'm dropping the Carter. Coming back like KD, it's time to go harder. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. They say that life's a marathon, man, shout out to Nip. They start to think you falling off and they starting to flip. Circumstances start to change and they jumping the ship. Only ones that really matter, who's tied to your hip. They tried to push you to the side cause they thought you would quit. May bend but never break, your cloth is legit. When you return in rare form, they all gonna be sick. You ever seen a living legend, just know that I'm it. Slow grind like IT, just know that I'm it. Now I'm back up in my bag, I'm giving them fits. Bouncing back like John Morant, you know that I'm lit. Making plays like Jacques, I'm never gonna sit. Had to be patient, so I waited for the situation. Now that I'm focused, I'ma take it with no hesitation. The hard times that I hated gave me inspiration. Look in the eyes from my kids gave me motivation. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Searching, I already found it. I ain't like my other side, now I'm sounding astounded. Drive by and let it ride like I'm whipping a Tesla. Pressure never fazed me cause I'm bigger than pressure. I'm on my grind, bullshit, can't fit on my schedule. I'ma do what's best with me, you can keep all your lectures. Spend the summer stacking bread, might be gone to November. Pulling up like Trae Young just to freeze up December. I got niggas on the blood like traditional sinners. OGs love me, so I hang with traditional winners. I took a break for a minute, I had to go charge up. Had to focus on my business, I'm coming back smarter. Hit up DJ, tell him go like I'm dropping the Carter. Coming back like KD, it's time to go harder. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up.
Coming right back here, Michaela Williams going to be here in a couple of minutes. They're in traffic getting to the studio. They should be walking in here in a couple of minutes. But appreciate Jacques for stopping by on our regular Wednesday segment. Shout out to Jacques for always coming through here. Watch out for their coverage over in New York City. Looking forward to following that as Jacques and the crew over at WAFB. I think it's just Jacques going up to New York tomorrow. He'll be there Thursday, obviously through Saturday night when the Heisman Trophy Award is announced. Jaden Daniels, the front runner for that, going into not only throughout the field of college football, but in Vegas right now. He's a big-time favorite as far as that award goes going into the season. Something else that we wanted to talk a little bit about before we get to MIKAYLAH Williams, as she'll be through here in a little bit, is that Tyronn Mathieu has been named the 2023 Saints Man of the Year, which makes him a now representative for the Walter Payton Man of the Year, which is he has been nominated for, which goes and is regularly and widely considered to be the most prestigious award in the NFL. The Walter Payton Man of the Year award is the league's, as we said, most prestigious honor and acknowledges the NFL player who excels on the field as well as demonstrating a passion for creating a lasting positive impact beyond the game and in their communities. This is the second time that Mathieu has been a nominee. He was nominated back in 2021 as a member of the Kansas City Chiefs. This one's got to be extra special for Ty, obviously being a New Orleans native, a St. Aug grad, a standout at LSU, and now one of the leaders of the New Orleans Saints defense. Obviously, Mathieu is one for all of us in Louisiana, for all of us who like and love and growing up watching LSU is somewhat of he's somewhat of an enigma. I mean, he kind of lives in a world by himself when you talk to people around about his LSU days, about him. And I don't know if anybody saw this. I put it out on my social media, on my personal social media, and I know the show was able to get it resurfaced as well, was the highlight package that was put out on Tyronn yesterday after he was in the news for being announced the New Orleans Saints Man of the Year, and obviously which now nominates him to become a Walter Payton Man of the Year. But going back and watching him in college, and College Football Report put out the highlight, at CFB Rep put it out, and I want to give them credit because they put nearly every highlight out of Mathieu from his freshman year. There's still a couple that were missing from the package, but there's a lot of 14 highlights, and obviously there's a ton of 7 highlights. And, you know, the football thing is obvious, right? I mean, you can get wrapped up in watching those highlights every single time they come on. I mean, I can almost give verbatim play-by-play of how and what the play sounds like, looks like, and I still will get captivated watching the highlights, you know, over a decade later of him at LSU. But to what he has accomplished off the field and the reputation he has within the league, amongst football people, among the fans, in the communities, and for what he has done, it really is a success story that we really can't calculate. You can't aggregate how successful of a journey it has been for Mathieu. And not saying like he was coming out of like the depths of hell. It just for watching him, for all of us having the opportunity and watch him, forget the weed, for getting thrown out of school, all that stuff. I mean, you know, now looking back on it, it's kind of silly to think that he was thrown out for something that's now legalized, or at least medicinally, you know, legalized in the
certainly
majority of the states.
destigmatized.
Right? I mean, decriminalized all over the country. But the it's not even a turn. It's like that's who he was then, and it just grew into this human being that is changed and so respected in so many circles that it's just cool to watch, really. I mean, I think more than anything, it has been awesome. He and I were trading some text messages yesterday when this was announced. And, you know, I mean, it's just, it is cool to see where this game has taken Tyronn Mathieu. You knew all along that the skill set was going to make him somebody that we talked about, right? Like, I mean, his game, his highlights, the way he played, the impact, the style, all of what he gives us as viewers, you can't get enough of. But to hear the stories like nominated for Walter Payton Man of the Year, becoming the Saints Man of the Year, being a multiple-time nominee for this, being leaders and captains on his team, the respect that he has in the locker room, how smart of a football player he is when you hear other coaches talking about him, and then seeing the impact that he has on the communities that he plays in is, man, it's just, it's you can't talk about it enough. I mean, I'm not breaking any news. I'm not, you know, sharing anything that's new. It's just when stories about Mathieu pop up, And, it's stuff that's because we've seen it all. I mean, he had 2 interceptions last week for the Saints. Non-surprising, right? I mean, we've seen so many plays and seen him affect games and so many teams at every level that the football stuff just is, we almost take it for granted now. And hearing the stories like that came out yesterday, I just wanted to make sure we recognized it, and that he is somebody that, we always celebrate here, and is someone that, deserves all of the accolades, all of the attention, all of the love that he gets because of, really the way that he's handled it, man. I mean, he's the guy that, LSU's relationship with the Heisman Trophy up until a couple of years ago, dated back to the 50s. I mean, that was all LSU really had as far as their relationship with that trophy went. Jerry Stovall was a runner-up, I believe, in 61, kind of right after Billy Cannon's ability to take that trophy home. And then Glenn Dorsey was a finalist in 07. And then Tyronn Mathieu, he made the trip in 2011 as a representative. And while he never felt like a threat to win it, it was just, he was the coolest story there. I mean, everybody that was there was really attracted to him and his persona, his style, his personality, the way he carried himself, obviously his look. It was just, it was something that everybody was drawn to. And I believe Kirk Herbstreit in 2012 named him his Heisman Trophy favorite going into the year before he was removed off the team. So, I mean, it's just cool to see him succeeding. It's cool to see his career kind of look, the football days, he's got his best football is behind him, right? I mean, he has played the best football of his life. It won't come back to him, but he'll always be able to, he's making more plays, kind of like Kobe and MJ later in their career, where they would beat you with the brains. They couldn't jump over you. They would just beat you with breaking you down. And you could see last week on a young quarterback like Desmond Ridder. I mean, it was taking it was taking candy from a baby for Mathieu on defending a guy like him. So,
and he'll have another opportunity against the Panthers this week with the rookie quarterback, where he'll probably be able to maybe bait him into a couple. But the 30 for 30 on Tyronn Mathieu will be one for the books if they ever decide to do one.
It'll be a 2-part series.
It has to be,
because you're not going to be able to put everything into one box. I mean, really. I mean, it's going to be a beautiful story to tell. I mean, the stories. I mean, I go back to even like the Frank Wilson story about him at the Tennessee camp. I mean, about when nobody knew about him, and he just, everybody in the country is at that camp. This is when Lane Kiffin is the head coach. Ed Ogeron's the recruiting coordinator. Monty Kiffin's the defensive coordinator. I mean, like, this is just a Tennessee staff that's, built out of the Football Hall of Fame. And Tyronn Mathieu is at this Tennessee camp, going into his junior year in high school, where everybody they've invited, Joe Montana's son was there as a quarterback. I mean, like, and everybody in between. 5 stars just ripping. Jarvis Landry was the big-time wide receiver that was there. And Mathieu and Landry had, ridden up on a bus together from New Orleans that Frank Wilson had gotten one of his longtime associate and friends to drive up. And by the end of the day, it was just Jarvis and Tyronn that were going at each other, because Mathieu was just calling everybody out. Nobody knew who he was. Everybody saw him as undersized. Everybody thought that, he didn't fit in. How's he here? What's he doing here? And then, by the end of the day, Frank Wilson and Ed Ogeron are coming face to face on why Tennessee should offer him. And I mean, it's a phenomenal story, and really kind of start and how it should start for Tyronn Mathieu in his journey. He's an all-timer, man. He is an all-timer. He should have us in the land and in the day of LSU, building statues, retiring numbers, putting names in the stadium. Tyronn Mathieu deserves to have his name, deserves to have his statue, deserves to have his recognition on LSU's campus, at the New Orleans Saints facility, at St. Aug High School, at places that he has touched in his life, because he's just he's phenomenal. I could keep going. I feel like I'm just kind of rambling on Tyronn Mathieu, but I could keep just going on what he should be recognized with because of what he's given back and the example that he can provide. So many of us forget the football stuff, forget the stuff on the field. That was just a treat to be able to watch the story, the lessons, the life, the growth. He says he wants to be LSU's head football coach. Like, he said it on this show. He said it off this show. He has said it in circles that, people have asked, is he serious? He obviously wants to do that. There is no way in the world that I would bet against him. Like, if he's telling you that's what he wants to do, then he's going to be that dude. Don't be surprised if at some point he is the LSU head football coach. And I say that with all sincerity. That may be a crazy thing to say, but he says he wants to do it. How could anybody bet against him? All right, Michaela Williams is here. We're going to talk to her next. Looking forward to this conversation. Best freshman basketball player in the conference. One of the best freshman basketball players in the country. At the rate she's going, at some point you might have to start talking about her as just one of the top players in the country. Forget the classification. Her game events coming off against Virginia Tech was a hell of a way to go into exams. That's where they are now. She will be back on the floor here after exams finish up. We'll tell her and ask her what the transition has been like, what she anticipates the second half of the season, and much more. So come back with us. Michaela Williams will close it out with us today. Remember, we're brought to you daily by our friends over at Go Roof, GEAUXroof.com. Check them out over at Go Roof, online at GEAUXroof.com. Over at Go Roof, that is residential and commercial roofing services. A beautiful roof every single time. 225-927-8300. Count on Go Roof for roof repair, roof installation, roof maintenance, and that's residential roofing, commercial roofing, or just roofing repairs. Online, GEAUXroof.com. 225-927-8300 is the phone number. Michaela Williams next from the LSU Lady Hoops team. We'll be back next here on the show.
Real quick
to close it out.
Real quick. Just through Ross Dellinger, LSU is finalizing a 3-year extension to retain offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock.
Nice. There you go. More news coming out of LSU. We'll be back after this.
They said I need a soul searching, I already found it. I ain't like my other side, now I'm sounding astounded. Drive by and let it ride like I'm whipping a Tesla.
If you're in the market for a mortgage lender, you need to start with Doug Bickley and his team. Bickley has built a crew with over 50 years of combined lending experience. They've been in business for over 20 years, and they love helping their clients achieve the American dream of home ownership. They're also key with working in real estate agents and helping their clients getting same-day pre-approval. They average about one buyer a day getting them in a home. If you want to get in touch with Doug and his crew, it's easy. Call them 225-214-5154. 225-214-5154. Go see the Bickley team today. They're located on the corner of Coursey Boulevard and Sherwood Forest right here in Baton Rouge.
What's up?
What's happening?
Chilling with a couple of cool guys. You?
Chilling and watching some tube. Hold on.
Did you do it?
Hold on. Did you do it?
Roof's up.
Hold on.
Roof's up?
Roof's up!
Roof's up!
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Beautiful roof every single time.
True.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Head health is incredibly important for our student athletes. One of the best ways we're trying to address concussions is on the front end. We're trying to prevent these before they happen. And a big part of that is speaking to the athletes, letting them know what to expect. Okay, speaking to the parents, what to look out for, talking to the coaches so they know the vital importance. Some of the big things we're looking for with a concussion, which is, a traumatic brain injury, is one, was there a mechanism? Was there an injury that took place that could lead to this? Often a direct blow to the head, a head-to-head hit. If someone's showing signs of concussion, our first step is always to remove them from activity, get them to a place where there's less stimuli, where we can really just sit down and get a feel for the athlete, what they're feeling. We're looking for headache, we're looking for dizziness, any sign that coordination is off, that something's just not right. Get a good evaluation of them to understand what's going on. It's not worth the risk that may be there to kind of ignore it, because there are very serious consequences if we don't treat a concussion properly.
Don't let concerns about shifts in the market disrupt your long-term financial goals. Edward Jones financial advisor Daniel Newman can help. He'll work with you on an investment strategy for long-term results. Edward Jones can give you the tools and knowledge for a steady approach to hitting your financial targets. Get started today by calling Daniel Newman at 225-261-8262. 225-261-8262. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Click Here Digital, the home of the Jordy Culotta Show. Online at clickheredigital.com. If you're looking to set Google ads, set social media campaigns, learn about SEO, display video, or even creative, Click Here Digital has the answer for you. Online at clickheredigital.com or email me directly, Jordy at clickheredigital.com.
Pressure never faze me cause I'm bigger than pressure. I'm on my grind, bullshit, can't fit on my schedule. I'ma do what's best with me, you can keep all your lectures. Spend the summer stacking bread, might be gone to November. Pulling up like Trey Young just to freeze up December. I got niggas on the block like traditional sinners. OGs love me so I hang with traditional.
All right, welcome back here, Jordy Culotta Show live here on this Wednesday morning. I appreciate you sticking around. Make sure and like, share, follow, subscribe to the YouTube page if you have not already done so. We appreciate you being here on this Wednesday, closing it out with a really good interview and one of the best freshman basketball players in the country. Forget the classification. Michaela Williams has taken college basketball and shown that the transition, it looks pretty easy. We'll ask her what it's really been like. She's averaging 17 through 9 games and coming off of a really cool performance versus Virginia Tech, where you could see her starting to feel it in the second half as that jump shot was falling. The mid-range game and the pull-up was unstoppable versus Virginia Tech. She's in exams now. They are practicing. They'll be on the wood for Sunday versus UL Lafayette. And Michaela is in studio with us. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
How has it been? I think a lot of people saw your game in high school and was like, "Oh wow, this is going to be it was seemingly an easy transition for you." What has the transition been like from high school to college?
I wouldn't say it's been easy at all. High school and college are two completely different things. First off, high school you could kind of coast a little bit and still be great at high school, but in college it requires all of your energy, all of your effort, all of your attention. College is really just high school, but very detailed.
Mm-hmm. Learning curve for you play year-round basketball, right? I mean, you were on Olympic teams, you were on AAU teams, you were on traveling teams, you were on your high school team. What's the difference in what you've kind of had to learn about the game at this level?
Right. I wouldn't think it's anything about the game. I would say it's more of learning how to play under Coach Mulkey. She has expectations that you have to meet in order to be on the floor. So that's some things that I had to learn early and quick in order for me to be on the floor.
It seems like you're still kind of learning those ways. Last week versus Virginia Tech, kind of a start for you that was in and out of the game. You end up finding a rhythm for you. What's that like, trying to kind of find that, what she's looking for you to stay out there?
Right. She told me something to do, and I wasn't doing it to the best that I could, so I had to sit down. It was a freshman moment, so I had to come back in, lock in on the scouting report, and then eventually I stayed in the game and got my rhythm going.
Yeah, I think one thing that's jumped out about you, everybody knew you could score. You know, I mean, we'll talk about the 40-point performance versus Kent State and what that was like, but I think, you know, when you watched you play, you were a very natural scorer. The defensive part has been really cool to watch. I know that's a demanding part of playing for Mulkey. What does that? I mean, you've matched up against the other team's best players some night. What's that been like for you?
I just wanted to be on the floor. I mean, defense is a part of what Coach Mulkey believes in the big game of basketball. So that's just something that I have to do in order to be on the court.
Yeah. What's it like with all these personalities coming into a team like this? You know, one that has big personalities and big playmakers.
Right. You would think that it's a lot of egos everywhere, but everybody's real humble. Everybody loves to win, and everybody loves to work hard. So just with those characteristics, everybody just clashes together.
Yeah. Do you feel the bullseye on this team? Do you feel the attention? I mean, as the defending national champs, do you feel like every time you guys take the floor that everybody in the world's watching?
Right. I mean, everybody wants LSU to lose. You know, we have Angel Reese, Haley Van Lith, Flage, Anissa Morrow. That's just a whole lot of firepower that everybody wants to see lose. But the longer we stay together and the longer we build our chemistry, it's just not.
Is this the first team that you've ever been on that you felt like you don't have to do everything? I don't mean that disrespectfully to the teams that you've been on. I mean, even national teams that you've been on. I mean, was it the Jordan All-Star game that we were watching where it felt like you kind of like took over? I mean,
that game was probably the one of the USA games.
Yes.
Towards the end.
Yes, where, I mean, it just kind of felt like among the stars, you were the star.
Right.
Does this team feel like kind of like you can be yourself? Like, I mean, don't feel like you have to wear so many hats, do so many things, you know, for your team to be successful?
Right, absolutely. I mean, everybody's really good at what they do, so that allows me to be really good at what I do as well. So that just takes my focus off of, do I have to do this, do I have to do this? And not only that, the upperclassmen instill confidence in me, so I feel confident enough to do what I do and still be okay and know that my teammates have my back.
What was recruiting like for you? What was your recruiting whole process like?
Right. I'm first off, I'm blessed for it, but I would say it was really hectic. If anybody knows me off the court, I'm kind of shy and in my own world, so recruiting, I had to step out and talk to a lot of people, so that was kind of different for me, but overall, I was blessed for the process.
When did it become LSU?
I would say, first off, I played softball first, and my dream school was always LSU. I just happened to switch sports.
Wow.
And it was still the
Somewhere
same.
Beth Torina's like, damn.
I decided to switch sports, and then Coach Mulkey and our coaching staff, they just really solidified that choice.
Yeah. Who do you look up to in basketball? Do you watch anybody try to mirror a game, or you just watch somebody that you love how they compete?
I wouldn't say I try to mirror anybody's game. I think I play my own game. But when it comes to like basketball, my parents played. So they just instilled what I stand on: discipline, focus, hard work, and that's what's gotten me this far now.
You hadn't gotten into it yet, but what do you make of the league? What do you make of the SEC when you just kind of start to look at it from afar, or what do you know about it coming into it?
I know it's tough. I know the SEC is not easy to play in, so like I said, work hard, discipline, toughness, that's what I believe in, and that's what will get me through that as well.
How's this week with exams and balancing the whole student-athlete thing?
Right. I mean, it's a lifestyle. That's what goes into college. So books, basketball, the student-athlete part. So that we're just doing the student part now.
What's a day like for you? Because Mulkey tells me she has to kind of kick you out of the gym at times. I mean, you're kind of a gym rat. What is your schedule like daily?
So we'll go off of Monday. Monday, I woke up at about 5:30. Me and Flage, we conditioned. We ran 4 sevens and a 10. 35 seconds to run 7 sidelines, and then we got like 40 to run 10, and then free throws in between. And then I went home, slept. We had practice at 1:30. Practiced. Then we had weights after practice. Then I did some walking after practice, and then recovery, and then go home and study for finals.
Wow. How much do you pay attention to the nutrition part of it?
Right. Coming into it, I didn't really pay any close mind to it, but as I've gotten deeper into the college game, I've realized that it's important. It's just as important as playing basketball or taking care of your body. So it's been a really important thing to me lately.
Back to the personalities on this team. Outside looking in, you have big personalities. Has the leadership emerged? Have you found the leaders in the locker room on this team? Here, it's still early, but I mean, have you started to see that as a youngster?
Absolutely. Like I said earlier, Angel Reese and Haley and Flage, they've been leaders from day one. They instill confidence in us younger players. They lead by example. They lead through their voices. So.
Yeah, the practices seem very competitive. Just watching you guys practice a little bit throughout the preseason part of it. What was that part like in the summer when you got over here and you started to play the pickup and you started to kind of see the speed of the game? Did you have confidence very early on that you were going to be able to kind of play your game at the college level?
Right. Like I said earlier, I've always had confidence in myself. I've worked really hard in order for me to have this type of confidence in myself. And not only then we got into practice, and in practice we had one game, the first scrimmage, where it was all the returners versus all the freshmen. Oh, and nice. I think in the first 2 minutes it was like 21-0. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize it was so up and down and so fast. But once we got our pace and once we got our footing, everything started to slow down and be easy.
It's cool to watch you play basketball. Fun to watch you play basketball. You make it look very easy. I know the game is not that easy, but it seems like it comes very easy to you. Congratulations on the early start. I know you guys play UL Lafayette coming up on Sunday. Be a 2:00 tip-off inside the Maravich Center. Got to be cool to playing in front of the big crowds.
It is.
Right?
It is, absolutely.
How much does that help?
I mean, big crowd, little crowd, I'm always playing my game. It doesn't matter if we're in front of 50,000 people or 50 people. I'm going to just play my game.
Great to meet you.
Thank you. Good to meet you as well.
Good luck on the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Michaela Williams, star freshman for the LSU Lady Tigers, defending national champs. They're back on the wood, back on the hardwood on Sunday, 2:00 versus Lafayette. They'll be in town to get back and rolling. They've had the week off since exams, coming off of a really nice win versus Virginia Tech going into the break. Thanks to Coach Jennifer Roberts for bringing Michaela over here this morning, and get out and while you can. I mean, I know that when you guys were coming on last year, we were telling everybody to buy tickets and to get their season tickets, Jen. But now, I mean, you can't even get a walk-up. So if you can get in the building, get in the building. They're a must-see action. So they'll be back on Sunday. For Michaela Williams, for the entire crew, appreciate you watching. Like, share, follow, subscribe. Be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time. It's the hottest show around, we ain't gotta flex. Call up G, we get it done, we earning our respect. Tell recruits to let us in, where they going next. Throw up the L's, now we lit, band playing neck. From the boot to the east to the west coast. No matter where we at, we live, mic'd up for show. Open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show, yeah. Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line.